So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Remedy for Riches, 1940. I'm going to get 3 out of 5 stars. I thought it was a pretty decent Poverty Row type of comedy for 1940. It's kind of goofy. Not a bad film. I laughed more than a few times, I have to admit. It's got some goofy moments. Remedy for Riches is a 1940 U.S. comedy film directed by Erie C. Kenton and starring Gene Herschel. It is the fourth of the 6 films of the Dr. Christian series. A college friend of the local soda jerk comes to town and lets it be known that he's looking for property on which to build a resort. When he buys some land and suddenly discovers there's oil underneath it, and generously offers to sell the townspeople shares in his newly found oil reserves, Dr. Christian suspects a swindle, and he sets out to prove it. Distributed by RKO Radio Pictures, release date November 29th, 1940. Running time 60 minutes, country United States, and language English. So the 4th out of 6 was pretty decent. And it gets a similar 5.9 out of 10 rating on IMDb. Only 104 ratings. This one is obscure. We like to go under 50, but 104 is pretty close. Nobody knows about this, hardly. Remedy for Riches. Remedy for Riches. 1940, 1 hour. Timing was great. The jokes were kind of funny. It was a little goofy and contrived, but not a bad comedy overall. All right. A college friend of the local soda jerk comes to town and lets it be known that he's looking for property on which to build a resort. When he buys some land, suddenly discovers there's oil underneath it, generously offers to sell the townspeople shares in this newly found oil reserves. Dr. Christian suspects a swindle and sets out to prove it. So the plot and the storyline from Wikipedia, and the storyline from IMDb are exactly the same. I like the DVD cover. It's colorized. Remedy for Riches. Gene Herschel, Edgar Kennedy, and Warren Hall. Edgar Kennedy and Warren Hall are kind of a good comedy team. I like the ending. I thought the ending was very, very good. They pulled it off somewhat well. I mean, I can't complain. I was expecting much less out of this. I have to say, I was a bit surprised. More like this, the courageous Dr. Christian. Dr. Christian meets the women. Melody for Three, and A Night to Remember. So there are 6 Dr. Christian films. I watched the 4th one, and like I said, I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't think it was a great movie, but I've seen worse. The failure of the original copyright holder to renew the film's copyright resulted in it falling into public domain, meaning that virtually anyone could duplicate and sell a VHS DVD copy of the film. Therefore, many of the versions of this film available on the market are either severely and usually badly edited and or of extremely poor quality, having been duped from second or third generation or more copies of the film. This was followed by Melody for Three in 1941. Here's a similar, okay, so Beek Kogenbing. Here's a review from B. Kogenbing on IMDb dated April 23rd, 2015. B. Kogenbing gives this a 6 out of 10, exactly the same rating as I'm giving it. So here's the consensus review here. Another take, very similar to mine. Wisdom but no medicine is the title of the review on IMDb. Not any medicine is practiced by Gene Herschelt in Remedy for Riches, but Dr. Christian once again proves to be the salvation of the town of River's End when he questions a newfound oil discovery on some worthless land belonging to Edgar Kennedy, the grocer. Warren Holt comes to town ostensibly looking to buy land to build a resort hotel, but he discovers oil conveniently salted in the land by Hull and his partner, Jed Prouty. He's an old friend of druggist Robert Baldwin from college, and he uses his friendship with Baldwin to gain acceptance in River's End. Not that Baldwin is suspicious at first, but when Hull starts cutting in on his time with Dorothy Lovett, who is Gene Herschel's nurse, that sets Baldwin on edge. Walter Carlett plays a sharp-talking but not terribly bright policeman, adds a lot to the comedy here. We like Walter Carlett. Carlett, together with Edgar Kennedy, brings more comedy than was present in the previous Dr. Christian films. Some secondary comedy bits involve Gene Herschelt and Walter Catlett trying to bake a replacement cake after Catlett eats a big chunk of one that Maud Eburn, who is Dr. Christian's housekeeper, bakes. And there's a strutting rooster slated for dinner who becomes a pet of the 2 spinster Purdy sisters, Helene Hall and Margaret McWade. All in all, a really nice and gentle film with the ever-wise Dr. Christian showing himself to be like George Bailey, the indispensable man of his town of River's End. So there you have it. Yesterday, I spent half of the night in the ER here at UCSF. For the past week, I had pain in my leg. I thought I was getting old, and I kept making all these excuses and theories as to why it was hurting for me to stand up and to walk. So I go to urgent care yesterday, finally my day off here on Irving Street, and they tell me, "Oh, you have to go to the emergency room." I said, "Okay." Well, which emergency room is covered by Blue Shield? And they said UCSF. So I went to UCSF and I spent half the night going through all these exams. I don't know how much they're going to charge me for copays and co-insurance, deductibles, and the like. Uh, but I am on track to do a little better this month. I mean, I am on track to do a little better in March than I did in February, mainly because I had gargantuan tax refunds this month. I got my federal. I'm still waiting for my state, but I did pay my car bill. I just have a couple bills that are due next week. And by then I should have my paycheck. So I should be able to save a good chunk of my paycheck, maybe $1,000 or so. We'll see how that goes. But I don't know. Still waiting for that state refund. I'm hoping I can get it next week. And I'm taking a full day off tomorrow to elevate my foot. I should be elevating it now. Okay. This is how I elevate my foot while I'm watching movies on YouTube. Speaking of movies on YouTube, I've got, by the way, I've got what's called a Baker's cyst on my leg. I guess it is something that old people get from time to time. It's a buildup of excess fluid in my knee. And I'm going to strive really hard to find an urgent care center in Bayview to get this thing drained out. I'm tired of dealing with this for 1 week going on 2 weeks. It's just driving me crazy, man. I hated waiting there. Although there was a cute radiologist named Amber, or maybe she was the tech. She just took pictures of my chest and she said that I had nice broad shoulders. And I thought, can I see your shoulders? But I didn't say that. I made a joke. I said my stomach kind of balances everything out. So she was cute. She's probably half my age, though. I couldn't exactly give her my phone number while she's doing my chest X-ray. I don't know why they do chest X-ray when I told them that my leg was hurting. Don't ask me. I'm not a doctor. But they did try to charge the insurance company as much as they could for this little debacle that I had last night. And the guy who did an X-ray of my knee, he was taking his sweet time, totally disorganized. He was like the opposite of Amber. So there's that. I was happy to get a diagnosis, though. I was trying to get a hold of my boss. Of course, she wasn't picking up her cell phone at 9 o'clock on Saturday night. So, yeah, I just texted her the doctor's note. It's not a doctor's note, it's a note from the nurse practitioner. This is my ticket to getting paid for one sick day tomorrow. There it is right there. Read 'em and weep. So there was something good that came out of this. I'm not looking forward to the bill that they send me for copay, co-insurance, deductibles, and anything out of pocket on my part that I owe them. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So that's what I've been up to this weekend. Paid for my dental crown. That was $928 or something. I had to dig into my savings. Hopefully, I can replenish a little bit of my savings next month. Put that money back where it belongs. I mean, next week. What am I saying? So it all depends on whether UCSF bills me next week. And how much they're going to bill me. Yeah. Sometimes you have to jump through hoops to get health care in San Francisco. But hopefully next Saturday I can get that cyst in my knee drained with some steroids. Get some steroid treatment in my knee. This is like sports medicine kind of thing going on with my leg. It's all swollen. My foot is swollen, but I can't feel any pain in my foot. It's all in my knee. So I've been trying to keep my leg elevated today. I skipped church, and I couldn't drive my son to altar service today. So that was a real bummer. Hopefully my son can get his mother to drive him to the Belmont church. He doesn't have his vestments over there, so he can't serve, but at least he can attend. I can't even attend. I'm not supposed to be I'm in COVID lockdown mode here with this I want to call it a sports injury, but I don't even know how it came about. It was just excess fluid that came out in the form of a cyst inside my the back of my knee, and it's called a Baker cyst. And I learned a new medical term last night. So yeah. Interesting stuff that happens when you're 54. Sorry. When you're 54, this is kind of stuff that happens to your knee. And it's annoying. And I just want to get it over with after 2 weeks of this later.